In every match, there's a hidden battle that you need to win. And on today's lesson, I'm going to teach you what that battle is, what tactics you need to use, and what shots you need to learn how to hit so you can end up winning the match. So let's get started. So every match has 4 battles. We've got my first serve, my second serve, and your second serve. And obviously, if we're close in level and we're competitive players, I'm going to dominate my first serve points, and you are going to dominate your first serve points. The real hidden battle is between our second serves, and I'm going to try to win both. I'm going to try to win my own second serve points, and I'm going to try to dominate you on your second serve points. So I'm hoping to win 3 out of those 4 battles and end up winning the war, which is the ultimate tennis match. All right, so how do I dominate the points when I am the second serve returner and you are serving to me? There are 2 main tactics you can use. They're both viable. Option 1 is the simplest, which is I'm simply just going to make as many returns as possible. So this might be a good tactic if you're playing someone with a really quality second serve, if it's windy like it is today, if you're playing on clay courts that are uneven, or if your game just doesn't feel great and you don't want to take the ball early, you're just going to back up behind the baseline, you're going to aim right through the middle of the court, and you're going to hit medium speed. It's nothing flashy, it's super simple, but you're going to put pressure on your opponent's second serve because you give them no free points. They're going to have to earn absolutely everything. Now, in the beginning, maybe in the first set, you won't see the dividends of this tactic. But as the match wears on and they have to continue to fight and grind and play all these points on their own second serve, you'll start to see a few more errors on their side. So it's a totally viable tactic. I don't really need to teach you what to do there. All it is giving yourself a little bit more space behind the baseline, choosing a simple target at an appropriate speed for your level, but that is absolutely a viable tactic to dominating their second serve. Now, the second way we can dominate someone else's second serve is we can step up and attack. Now, there's a couple reasons why this is a good option. Number 1, when we step up in the court and go after the return, we can force them into +1 errors. We can rush them. We can make them feel uncomfortable. The second delayed effect is because people don't like being rushed and they don't like being attacked, they might start to go for more on their second serve, which can lead to more double faults. So we have 2 extra ways that we can win those points. So I've got 4 main keys for attacking these second serve returns. Number 1 is people just kind of go default setting and they just kind of stand in the same place no matter what, whether it's a first serve, second serve, a slow second serve, they might just be standing right here. I want to stand as close as I can where I can simply split, turn, and rip. So if you've got a very, very slow second serve, maybe you're standing 3 or 4 feet inside the court. I have actually stood halfway between the baseline and the service line one time because my opponent's second serve was so slow. So don't just stand back out of respect or just on default mode. Make sure you start early so you can create a simple rhythm. My second main key when you're attacking these returns and taking them early is to shorten your swing a little bit. So yes, we are taking their time away. We're also taking our own time away. So once we're inside the baseline, whether it's a forehand or a backhand, we're super compact. We can still accelerate. We're still going to go after the shot. But once we move into the court, we don't need to be taking a monstrous swing to attack that return. So tip number 3 is I like to prepare for a forehand or a backhand. So I personally had a better backhand when I was growing up. So I used to try to position myself on the return where I thought I was always going to be able to step up and rip that backhand. If they had a backhand body serve, this would be super simple right here. Sometimes they had a serve that went a little more forehand body. And so I would actually start a little more this way so I knew what I was going to get. Now, if you're a typical player who has a better forehand than a backhand, the only thing you would do is while you're up in the court, once they toss the ball, you can just reposition here so you can step up and crack that forehand. But I find it's a lot easier to be consistent when you're up in the court if you already know what shot you're going to hit. And key number 4, and this shouldn't surprise you if you watch my channel, we're going to go mainly down the middle, hopefully cross court so it crosses their bodies slightly, but we don't need to take additional risk. We're already up in the court. We're already hitting a little faster and attacking. We don't have to hit fast and hit close to the line. We can literally just go right at their feet, jam them up, and force that +1 error. So let's take a look at my morning practice today. I had 2 great D1 players in town, and they're working on taking these second serve returns early, using all these keys and trying to force errors from the server. All right, I want you to take a look at Emmy on the far side. We're playing a game where you only get 1 serve. So we're going to be able to attack these second serves right there. You can see a great backhand rip. But just pay attention for some of the keys we talked about. She's starting inside the baseline. Right there's a forehand chip. She's hitting mostly through the middle. She's got a nice short swing. But look how uncomfortable it is for the server. I mean, we're ripping balls, taking time away. They're on their back foot. And this is exactly what you want to do when you're attacking second serve returns, is just make them incredibly uncomfortable. Now we got the side view just so you can see how far up in the court she is. This is a good 3 to 4 feet inside the baseline. And like I said, that server's just landing. They're off balance, and you're going to easily rush them and force some mistakes. This is that chip and charge. And again, this might even be 4 or 5 feet inside the court. So you just play with it. You got to see what their serve is like, but the closer you can start in the court, the more you can rush them and hit some accidental winners and force those +1 airs. And this is that last backhand she hit. And you can see how short the swing is, and you'll see this follow through here. Super short when you're up in the court, but this was a great job by Emmy today. All right, so that's how we're gonna win the battle on our opponent's second serve. How do we tread water or even win the battle on our own second serve? Now, this is not gonna turn into a serve lesson, but goal number one is to have less double faults than your opponent's missed returns. So I'm just simply trying to make my second serve. And that might sound very common sense, but there's a lot of times as I watch people playing, and by the speed and the location of their second serve, I don't think their main objective is trying to make it. I think they're trying to hurt someone or prevent being attacked. So I would recommend playing within yourself, body serves, tons of spin, and if you make the serve, great job. Now, where you can level up is if you already have a consistent serve, you're gonna wanna have variety. So you're gonna be able to make those second serves with different speeds, different spins, in different locations. So I am someone who always attacked second serve returns. What I hated was when I had a server who gave me something I didn't know what was coming. It might be a 75-mile-an-hour slice out wide. It might be a slow topspin to my backhand body. So I'm up in the court trying to take these returns early, but I don't know what the speed's gonna be, the spin, the location, everything's different, and I end up missing a ton of returns when I was trying to attack because I didn't know what was coming. So once you get consistent with the serve, then you try to get consistent with different types of spins and locations, and I think you'll find people have a very hard time attacking you, and they're gonna have to go with strategy one, which is just staying back and making a lot of returns, which is much better for you as the server. And the last thing you're gonna need to do if you wanna win your own second serve points is you're gonna have to get very good at defending a serve +1. So everybody always talks about serve +1, oh, hit in the corner, then rip a ball over here. Serve +1 does not mean attacking. It just means the first ball after your serve. And when you are hitting a second serve, that is very likely to be on defense. So my simple cues for making that first ball after the serve is know what you're gonna do. After I hit that second serve, I back up a touch, and I know before they even hit the return, I'm going medium speed, cross court through the middle with a little bit of height. I'm not thinking that it could be offensive. I'm thinking I wanna survive. So if you are on your own second serve and you make the serve and you make the +1, you have done a tremendous job and you're gonna do great for the match. It doesn't have to be better than that. So let's take a look at some +1 practice from earlier today where we saw that we made some mistakes when the returner attacked us and how we address that and what we're trying to think about so we can make more +1s and do well on our own second serve. All right, so now we're taking a look at Allie practicing her serve +1. So she was getting attacked by Emmy and she was making some +1 airs. And so all we're doing now is exactly what we talked about. We're trying to make a second serve every time. And then I'm standing very close inside the court and I'm ripping a feed so she gets that feeling of being under pressure. Now she's trying to shorten her swing, she's trying to soften her hands, and she's trying to split quickly after. But again, her tactic is I'm gonna hit medium speed, high over the net and cross court right there. It's absolutely perfect. So when you practice, you don't just come out and hit forehands and backhands cross court. You work on specific things. And today she struggled with those +1 balls when Emmy was up in the court returning. And so right after that practice, we did an extra 30 minutes and said, hey, let's go make 25 or 30 of these. And this is something we'll do the rest of the week as well, and probably the rest of the year, because it's super important. This is one of those battles you gotta win, and if you wanna win your own second serve, you gotta put it in the court, and you gotta make these difficult +1s. So you wanna win more matches? We've gotta win that second serve battle. As a returner, get good at staying back and making some as a default option, but also practice taking the ball early, planning what shot you're gonna hit, where you're gonna hit it, with a nice short swing and ripping balls so you can force airs. And then on your own serve, getting a reliable second serve and being very patient and simple with your tactics on the +1. If you can win that second serve battle, you're gonna walk off the court a champion more often than not.